Today's story reminds me of my childhood experiences, but it's more mysterious than what I've been through. The story is shared by a netizen named Dell. His younger brother's family lives in the countryside. One afternoon in 2008, out of boredom, he went to a small grove to catch crickets. Because he couldn't catch any, he walked deeper into the woods. The forest was full of weeds, and his younger brother wasn't paying attention to the path and accidentally walked into a pit. The pit might be more than 1 meter high. When he first fell down, his eyes couldn't adapt, and he couldn't see anything, but he could hear a cooing sound, not knowing what it was, which scared him. He touched with his hands and felt a sticky substance, which scared his younger brother to tears. At this time, his eyes gradually adapted to the environment, and light also came in from the hole above. He saw a large toad on the ground, staring at his younger brother. After seeing it, his younger brother dared not cry and began to try to climb up. The younger brother's pit was about half a meter deep, and because of the weeds on the wall of the pit, the younger brother was still relatively easy to climb up. As a result, as soon as he climbed, the toads in the pit also jumped up with him. When he climbed to the ground, many toads had already jumped out. One of them was particularly large, as big as a wash basin, and it also cooed, with a very loud voice, staring at his younger brother, which scared his younger brother to run in a panic. After running for a while, he saw a family, with an old lady in the courtyard washing vegetables. His younger brother ran over. The grandmother asked him what was wrong, and he told his own experience to the grandmother. At this time, it was getting dark, and his younger brother dared not go, so he had to stay at the grandmother's house. In the evening, not long after having dinner at the old lady's house, he heard his mother calling his name. His younger brother answered, "I'm here." His mother came over with a flashlight and saw that his younger brother was a hammer, asking why he didn't go home and had been looking for him all night. His younger brother also told his mother about this matter, and his mother thanked the grandmother with his younger brother and casually said a word. As a result, as soon as the sentence was finished, it suddenly started to rain heavily. Because there was no umbrella, the grandmother left them in her own house. She lived there alone, which was also very convenient. The rain was getting heavier, and there was always thunder. When his younger brother couldn't sleep, he looked outside. Then there was lightning, and he saw many toads jumping on the ground in the courtyard outside, and there was a super large toad in the middle of the courtyard swallowing other toads. His younger brother was thinking, is this toad chasing him here, and how does his mother care? His younger brother slept together until the next day, and the rain stopped early in the morning. The grandmother called his younger brother to get up and have some porridge, and then said this strange thing while eating. There were so many toad corpses in the courtyard. His younger brother ran to the courtyard to see, and indeed, he saw many toad corpses, so he came back to tell the grandmother what he saw the first night. The grandmother's eyes were a bit shocked, and she warned the child not to talk nonsense. When his younger brother really saw the large toad swallowing the small toads, his younger brother nodded. Then, the old lady told his mother that her daughter seemed to be a toad in the mountain and wanted to become a spirit, and she had taken a fancy to your child. Then the old lady said that such a thing happened in her village when she was a child. Later, the child was swallowed by the toad. His younger brother and his mother thought, no matter how big the toad is, how can it swallow a person? This is not a serious matter. After the meal, he left 20 yuan for the old lady and took his younger brother home. That night, his younger brother and his mother were sleeping, and suddenly woke up in the middle of the night. His younger brother slept against the wall on one side of the bed, and there was a window on the wall that could see outside. His younger brother saw a boy with many bags on his face standing outside the window looking at him. At that time, his younger brother didn't know what was going on and wanted to go out to play with the boy. When he got out of bed, his mother was awakened by his younger brother's movements and asked why. The younger brother in the middle of the night wanted to say that there was a little boy outside calling him out. As a result, his mother sat up and looked outside, and there was no little boy, only a large toad lying on their window sill. At this time, his younger brother couldn't see the boy. After seeing the large toad, they cried again. They hugged their mother and said, "What the grandmother said was not true. Does this large toad really want to swallow me? What should I do?" His mother comforted his younger brother and said not to be afraid. The next morning, after his mother sent his younger brother to his grandfather's house, she went to see the grandmother again. In the afternoon, his mother came back. At that time, his younger brother's father was working in another place, so his mother asked his younger brother's uncle to help bring a large bag of lime and sprinkled a circle of lime around the house. It passed 2 days like this, very normal. As a result, it rained on the third night, and the lime was washed away. That night when sleeping, his mother was holding his younger brother, and as a result, his younger brother still woke up, awakened by the noise outside, a lot of cooing. His younger brother and his mother looked out of the window, and when they went to have a look, there was a large toad lying in the middle of the courtyard, a super large toad staring at the window. His mother quickly called her uncle and grandfather. After a while, his uncle and grandfather came, and his uncle directly picked up a shovel in the courtyard, preparing to take a picture of the toad. As a result, they were stopped by his younger brother, and they were thrown into the house first. Then his mother told his uncle and grandfather to protect his younger brother to the courtyard, and let his younger brother say to the large toad, "Old toad, you are an adult," 3 times in a row. If the large toad still doesn't leave, let the third uncle and grandfather kill it. His younger brother did as he was told, but it was really strange. After shouting "Old toad, you are an adult" 3 times, the large toad really left with the small toads. Afterwards, his younger brother had a high fever for 3 days, and on the third night, he had a dream, and in the dream, he dreamed of that large toad. The large toad told his younger brother, "I am a toad, and I want to become a spirit. If you step on my hole, I will kill you, but you will help me become an adult. Today I give you a horse." At that time, his younger brother was sweating all over and couldn't move. When he opened his eyes and woke up, he was already in the village clinic for infusion. After his younger brother recovered, his mother told him that these operations were all taught by the grandmother, so she took his younger brother to thank the grandmother. However, it was strange that the grandmother's house became desolate, as if no one had lived there for a long time. I don't know where the grandmother went. All of this is like a dream. Well, see you in the next story.